I decided for various purposes. One is to, in my consideration, to reveal more about the psychoanalytic orientation, be that Lacanian or whatever we follow in our school, based on Lacan and Freud, of course. I have done quite a few readings of Lacan, and I can say that you know, some books were helpful. Some of them they assist one understanding what is the Lacanian orientation. You know, of course, the authors, they spend a lot of time writing those books, but through these specific books, you understand better the Lacanian orientation because of the stupidities that they write. So I decided to make some stupid people famous. And so before I start my seminars, I will show you one book, and I will say why, because it's not just saying that something is stupid, or that the author is a fucking idiot. But I will say why, what is mentioned in the book. And I will urge you to read those books, because I realize that Lacanian orientation or Freud's orientation, or the orientation to the breath, it cannot be understood without understanding what we have to separate ourselves from. So the first thing, if you allow me to share before I go to the interview, it's this book. It is, I will make it bigger, but Between Vinegar and Lacan, a Clinical Engagement, edited by Louis A. Krishner. Let me make it a bit bigger. Can you see it? Arino, can you see it? Okay, so this guy is a responsible person for the Lacanian group of Harvard University. Okay, big university, you expect that there will be geniuses there. When you read this book, it gives a lot of knowledge, but then at some point, I would just use this one point to show this genius Harvard guy that he's an idiot, but he doesn't know it because he thinks that he knows everything. He says, when I supervise my analysants, sorry, the analysts that come to me, I ask them Lacanian questions. That's the first stupid thing he mentions in the book. What is a Lacanian question? And sometimes I ask them object relations questions. Sometimes I ask them in the same supervision that he's supervising Lacanian analyst or whatever analyst he's, whatever supervising, he's asking questions that he thinks that they are related to Lacanian psychoanalysis and others that they are related to Vinegar. Of course, this is the typical American stupidity of the border. When you've got this sort of confusion, even in the sessions, to choose between two, or even among specialists of Harvard, saying between Vinegar and Lacan, it means that they have lost their desire and their point of orientation. So the concentration there is on the imaginary. What do I mean by imaginary? They are concentrating on the technique. That's why he's asking questions related to what he thinks is Lacanian, and then questions related to Vinegar's theories. But you cannot do both. You know why? Because Lacanian orientation, it's an orientation, it's not a technique. It's a subjective topology, is a subjective shift of the analyst. It's not something that we're trying to shift and change and modify and callup. I think they've got this word, I think Serbian or English, to fixate our analysis in a specific way. When they say that psychoanalysis, it has a specific method, specific ways to go every week, specific way to be happen, That's not psychoanalysis at all. Has nothing to do with psychoanalysis. It is not the patient or the analyst that has to be shifted to fit that technique, but the analyst to be adopted to the real of the symptom of the analyzer. And this adaptation, I'm responding to that idiot now, does not mean that, oh, with this analysis, then I will ask him questions of Vinegar, or with this analysis, then I will ask questions related to Lacanian theory. If you are doing that, because you are precisely an idiot. It's the 5th time I said that, but it's one of the most stupid books I have read for psychoanalysis. And people are reading it because they want to understand Vinegar and Lacan. What is between Vinegar and Lacan if you do the reading the way I did with this book? Between Vinegar and Lacan, it's always a bombastic idiot psychoanalyst who doesn't know where to stand, who doesn't know where his desire or her desire is. I met a lot of those, especially from the United States, some of them in England, and they say, I'm half Kleinian, half Lacanian. You are half idiot at half simpleton, to use this dated English word. Okay, so if you want to understand, pay attention. Maybe the whole book gives you information, and then you see the way they approach the practice, and they tell you this bullshit, this fucking idiotic stuff. And don't get me wrong about say fucking, because Freud's psychoanalysis became very conservative and they stopped using the word fucking, even though Freud started psychoanalysis about the guy who fucked his mother. So the word fucking, it's nothing. It's like drinking water for psychoanalysts. So this book, it's in the list of the most stupid books about Lacanian psychoanalysis you can read, coming from Louis A. Krishner, a Harvard guy. Okay? To understand the ingenuousness of Harvard. So get it, and read behind the lines. This guy is so confused that in the same supervision, he's shifting his position to ask object relations questions. Why he does that? Why he's putting the questioning on the imaginary? Because he cannot understand the transference, he cannot understand the symptom of the analyst. Okay? He's trying to get knowledge. He's trying to teach knowledge. That's why he's shifting from one master to the other. That's not the way to do psychoanalysis. That's not the way to do supervision, for certainly. Okay? So that's my small prologue. I would do that for every book, every single seminar I have. Now, let's go to share something else. Let's go to share a psychiatric interview. This interview is by the psychology department of the University of Nottingham. Okay, and I think it's with actors, but they said that it's very precise way to do psychiatric interviews, and with these videos they are teaching their psychologists and whatever psychiatrists they have there in that department. Okay, let's see what did they manage. Last time it was an actual psychotic patient. This one I wanted to show you this interview that they use to teach people how to conduct interviews with psychotic patients. Let's go. No, wait, I have to share it with sound. Apologies. Stop share. Sorry, guys. Share with sound. Yeah. No.
Hi, Andy. Do you want...
Where is Andy?
I'm the on-call psychiatrist for this afternoon.
Can you,
I got
Penny, can you hear it? Okay.
a call this morning from your family doctor. The doctor thought it might be helpful.
Fuck off. Harula had it on the speaker you record.
Hi, Andy. Do you want to come on in and have a seat? I'm Dr. Taylor. I'm the on-call psychiatrist for this afternoon. I got a call this morning from your family doctor because I think you went to see him this morning along with your mum, and I gather that things have been a little bit difficult for you. You've had some rather distressing experiences. So I think your doctor thought it might be helpful for us to have a bit of a discussion about that, to see if I could help. Would that be all right with you?
No, it's fine.
Would it be all right, Andy, for you to tell me a little bit about what's been going on?
Well, you're going to think it sounds stupid, but my housemates are working for MI5.
Right.
And they're doing stuff to my brain.
Okay.
And they're out to get me.
Okay. That must be very difficult for you.
Okay.
How long has this been going on for, Andy?
About 2 months.
Right. And how did you first work out that this is what was happening?
I came home one time and they'd moved the TV to the other side of the room,
Right.
and I knew then
And what was it that you knew at that moment?
that that they were for MI5.
Right. Okay. Okay. So it's been going on a couple of months.
Yeah, this new lecturer started at
Right.
uni, and he works for MI5. And
Right.
he basically drafted my housemates in, turned them
Okay.
against me.
Okay. Okay. Now I've noticed a couple of times while we've been talking that you've sort of looked round you into the room as if you're checking for something. Could I ask you what's happening at those times?
Well, I can hear them talking about me.
Right. Who is it you can hear?
My housemates.
Right. So that you recognise it as their voices?
Yeah, I can hear them all the time.
Right. How many voices can you hear, Andy?
3. There's 3 of them.
Okay. And do they sound real, like my voice sounds talking to you now?
Yeah, it's odd. It's like I can hear them when they're not here.
Right.
And
So what they're not when they're not in the house with you?
yeah, it's like they're in the other room or something.
Okay. Okay. And can you hear what they're actually saying?
Yeah, they're talking about me.
Right. Okay.
They're always talking about me.
Okay.
They're always commenting on everything that I'm doing.
Right. Can you give me an example of what they would say?
Well, like if I'm packing my bag to go to uni or something, they'll comment on that, like he's
Right.
left the house now. Or,
Okay. Okay.
you know.
Anything else? Do they ever talk to each other, perhaps about you?
Yeah, that's what they do. I mean, and now they know. They've sort of twigged that I know about them now,
Right.
and they're saying like I'm making trouble,
Okay.
and that they're gonna sort me out.
Okay. Okay. What about actually talking directly to you in the way that I'm talking to you now? Does that ever happen, Andy?
No.
Okay. So you've been hearing the voices of your housemates. Have there been any other changes? Have there been any changes perhaps to the way you're thinking? Sometimes people tell us that their thinking changes in some way. So, for example, they might feel that they're getting thoughts put into their head that aren't their own. Have you had any experiences like that?
Yeah, I do think things that aren't me. Like they're putting stuff in my brain. It's not me. I'm not thinking.
So different
like
thoughts in your brain.
Yeah, that's
right.
like it's stupid stuff as well. It's like the other day I suddenly just started thinking about some woman in Coronation Street. I don't watch any of that crap.
Right. So it's not your kind of thing normally. Right.
They're not my thoughts.
Right. Okay. And do you have any idea how that's happening, or who's responsible?
It's MI5. It's this chip they've put in my head.
Right. Okay.
And I can feel it all the time.
Okay. So you're getting thoughts put into your brain that aren't your own. What about a different sort of experience? What about the experience that somehow other people are able to know what you're thinking, even though you haven't actually told them?
No.
Nothing like that.
They're just putting stuff in my head.
Just putting stuff. And can I just check, Andy, as well, that you're not getting the experience when your thoughts just stop altogether, like you have no thoughts left?
No. If anything, there's too much in there. I wish I
Right.
could unplug it.
Okay. Okay.
Just get this thing out of my head.
Right. And you mentioned this chip or this device in your brain. Do you want to tell me a bit more about that?
Well, it's a tracking device, so they
Right.
know where I am at all times, and that I can feel it moving around, like
Right.
rotating
So you can
around.
feel the physical sensation in your
Yeah.
brain. Okay. Okay. That must be very difficult for you.
I don't know why they're doing this to me. I've done
Okay.
nothing wrong.
Okay. Can I just check, are there any problems, Andy, with the rest of your body? Any changes in sensation or any bits that feel different in any way?
No, feel fine. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not ill or anything. I just want this thing on my head.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like a very difficult time for you. Can I ask you, Andy, how are you coping with all this? How's it affecting you?
Well, I'm not really leaving my room much, and I sort of have to wait till they go out to go down and get some food. But they've been doing stuff to my food now. So
okay. Well, what do you think's happening to your food?
They're poisoning it.
Right. Okay. Are you actually eating much at the moment?
No.
Okay. Now, with all this happening, and this sounds like you don't feel very safe, have I got that right? Okay. Have you felt the need, I don't know, to take steps to protect yourself in any way?
Well, I've got a knife.
Okay.
And I've got like a baseball bat.
Right.
It's just in case they get in my room. I don't want to hurt anyone. I just feel like I've got to protect myself. It's like it's cornering me to do this.
Right, okay. Have you felt the need to use either the knife or the baseball bat so far? To take it out with you for protection?
No, I don't want to get caught.
Okay,
no,
okay.
It's just in my room.
Okay. Has it ever got so bad, Andy, that you felt the need to hurt yourself or even kill yourself as the only way out, the only way of coping with this?
Well, I thought about getting some pills, but I couldn't leave the house, so I didn't get anything.
And when you say getting some pills, would that be to take an overdose of tablets?
Yeah.
But you've not actually done anything about that so far? Okay. In the past, have you ever had any problems either with your temper or getting into fights, being aggressive, either with your housemates or anybody else?
No, I'm not that kind of person. I don't want to hurt anybody. They're just driving me to this.
And can I just check again, you've not been in trouble with the police or anything like that?
No, never.
Okay. With all this that's going on, is there anywhere at the moment, Andy, that you feel safe?
My parents' house.
Right, okay. And have you seen much of your parents recently?
Yeah, I thought about going back there, but I don't want to drag them into this.
Right.
I don't want MI5 knowing about them.
Right. And throughout this last couple of months, when you've had all these worries, have you ever worried that your parents might in some way be involved in this conspiracy?
I thought about it, but no.
Okay, okay. Can I just check out a couple of background things with you, Andy? Your general health, is that okay? You generally fit and well?
Yeah, I'm not ill. There's nothing wrong with me.
Okay.
It's just this thing in my head.
Okay. And you're not on any regular medication from your own doctor at this stage?
No, I don't take any pills.
What about other drugs? And by that I'm meaning alcohol, cannabis, pills, anything else?
I don't drink much alcohol.
Right, okay. And what about drugs like cannabis?
Is my mum going to know about this?
No, I think it's something that it's important that I hear about, but this wouldn't be something we'd be discussing with your mum.
I smoke a bit of weed.
Okay. Would that be regularly, so most days?
Yeah.
And how much would you be spending on weed?
I don't know, I get like a 10 bag, it lasts me a day or so.
Okay. So you have a 10 bag lasting you a day of weed. Any other drugs? I'm thinking in particular things like speed or pills.
Done a bit of speed.
Okay. Is that on a regular basis, Andy?
I used to go out with my mates at the weekend, would do a bit, but...
Okay. When was the last time, Andy, that you would have had any speed?
About a week or so ago.
Right. Okay. Any other drugs at all?
No. No, but I know what you're getting at though. It's not the drugs.
Right.
It doesn't matter how my face I get. This is constantly there. It's always there.
Okay. I guess the reason I was checking, I think it's what you've picked up on, is that sometimes when people are having the kinds of experiences that you are, they find if they take certain drugs, it can make things feel a lot worse. And I just wanted to check that hadn't been your experience.
No.
Okay. Okay. I appreciate from what you're saying that you're really very worried about this MI5 conspiracy and that that's the cause of the difficulties that you're having at the moment. I just wanted to check with you, do you think it could be due to anything else? I mean, I've obviously met other people who've had similar experiences, and sometimes they're extremely stressed. Some people might be actually mentally unwell, and just whether any of these things might be relevant to you at the moment.
No, because I'm not ill.
Right.
It's them, and I've read books on this as well. The government know about them.
Right.
They know that they do this to loads of people. I don't know how they can get away with it.
Okay.
I've done nothing wrong. I don't know why they're doing this to me.
Okay.
I just want it to stop.
Sure, and I think I can appreciate that. I guess what I'm wondering is whether you think there's anything that someone like me might be able to do to help you as a doctor, that sometimes meeting with someone like a psychiatrist or having medication, or for some people even coming into hospital for a short time might be helpful. Do you think any of those things would help you at the moment?
I don't know. I mean, I'm only here really because of my mum.
Right.
I don't want to worry her. I've tried to talk to her about it, and she doesn't understand. She doesn't really believe me. I mean, do you believe me?
Well, I certainly believe, Andy, that you're having a really difficult time at the moment. I guess what I'm not as sure about is what's causing this, and I'm less sure this is due to MI5. I guess what I'm wondering is that perhaps you're not as well as you might be at the moment. I mean, we've been through a lot of questions, and what I'm thinking is we need to try and come up with a way of supporting you through this. So I'm wondering, because I know your mum is, I think she's waiting in the waiting room, it might be a good chance now to get your mum in, and then perhaps the three of us can put our heads together, have a bit of a discussion about where to go from here, and try and think of getting you some proper support. Would that be all right if I got your mum in?
Okay.
Okay, if you want to sit there then, Andy, I'll just get your mum. Okay.
Okay, I would like to play again the interview, but I will stop it to make interventions. Is that okay with you, Penny?
I'm just wondering, is this, presumably they're actors, but they're probably working from a real script?
Yes, it's part of the psychiatric, the psychological department of English University.
Yeah, I was just wondering if the people are actors.
They are actors, yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
The patient is actor for sure. Maybe the.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the lady is a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Okay, but they have a script anyway from psychiatrists. Let me now decompose it a bit, and then you can have your comments. It's a University of Nottingham. Okay. Andy is 21 years old university student who is seeing a psychiatrist due to concern raised by his GP. He's in the final year of his degree and lives in a shared room with his friends. Okay.
Hi, Andy. Do you want to come on in and have a seat? I'm Dr. Taylor. I'm the on-call psychiatrist for this afternoon. I got a call this morning from your family doctor because I think you went to see him this morning along with your mum, and I gather that things have been a little bit difficult for you. You've had some rather distressing experience.
The first mention of the mum. Keep that hand.
So I think your doctor thought it might be helpful for us to have a bit of a discussion about that to see if I could help. Would that be all right with you?
No, it's fine.
Would it be all right, Andy, for you to tell me a little bit about what's been going on?
Well, you're going to think it sounds stupid, but my housemates are working for MI5.
Right.
And they're doing stuff to my brain.
Okay.
And they're out to get me.
Okay, that must be very difficult for you.
Okay. The first mistake, I really apologize. There are ladies in the room, but I really need to say bad words. Okay. So this is a psychiatrist, this is a doctor, and the best questions you can come up, they are so stupid. So listen to what she's missing. Wait. Listen to that.
My housemates are working for MI5.
Right.
And they're doing stuff to my brain.
They are doing stuff to my brain. And her response is,
okay.
Okay. She doesn't care about elaborating. And why elaboration is important if you have suspicion of psychosis? For two reasons. One is to create some sort of historicity. Historicity gives a cause and effect, that I came from here, that happened to me, and I'm here. If it is a lie, it gives a context, a linearity to the body. So not to fall into the side of schizophrenia, which the body is disoriented. And her only response is, okay, because for her interview, the fact that he's speaking about MI5, it's enough to do her own things. He doesn't open up, he doesn't ask clarification questions. That would be very valuable.
And they're out to get me.
Okay, that must be very difficult for you.
Okay, this must be very difficult for you. This is a very stupid Americanized question, or the empathy that the psychologists used, and to try to say, oh, this must be very difficult for you. That must be very stressful. So this is an emphasis on the feelings, to try to get into your own shoes. Okay, so they're trying to create transfers by being, but oh, that's difficult for you. The question she should have asked is what I said earlier. So he can give her information, even though psychotic, paranoia, whatever, and that condensed thing that he keeps mentioning about the MI5 would be unfold and become a narrative. Okay, this is what she should have done. But because she's so focused on understanding the dangers, the diagnosis, reality, and stuff, she's missing up all these questions.
How long has this been going on for, Andy?
About 2 months.
Right. And how did you first work out that this is what was happening?
I came home one time and...
Okay. She's trying to ask him about the trigger, what happened. She's missing another question here. A very, very basic question. It doesn't matter if they accept it or not. She could have asked, let's say 2 months now. I would have asked, tell me more about your life 2 months ago. If you want to, and if you are going to work with the triggers, as she does, okay, ask about his life, what was going on. Maybe he cannot say, but pose a question. How were things in your life? Tell me about 3 months. What were you doing there? Ask these questions. Sometimes they don't understand. Sometimes the symptom is so powerful that the context is missing. That's why they are giving emphasis on the symptom. And by having psychiatrists like this and psychologists like this, that they ask nothing about it. So what we've got is a constant, powerful repetition of their symptom. And then the only thing we have to give them is techniques, usually CBT or behaviorism. And if these techniques, they don't work because they don't really work in difficult cases, okay, take medication. Ask him, what was going on in your life 2 years ago? But that's a very human question. What was happening in your life?
One time and they'd moved the TV to the other side of the room,
right.
And I knew then.
And what was it that you knew at that moment?
That they were for MR5.
Right.
Okay. The main signifier here, you see, usually I'm a very kind person, but when I hear things like that with people that they study 10, 15 years to be psychiatrists or psychologists, and they come up with this bullshit that the average Cypriot village, they have better answers for this. You know, you cannot just look at them without making fun of them. Okay? Listen to that, to what I'm saying. She didn't pay attention to the fact that the trigger there, it was the moving, that they came and they moved stuff. She's not answering, she's not asking anything about it. Look at it.
one time, and they'd moved the TV to the other side of the room,
Right.
and I knew then
And what was it that you knew at that moment?
that that they were for MR5.
Right.
Okay. Moving of the
So it's been
TV
going on a couple of months.
is what sparked. That was the trigger. Something with the moving. The signifier there is moving the TV. The first thing she should have done here is to elaborate further about the TV. What is it? Is it the gaze? Is it the moving? To understand more about these two signifiers. Okay, but of course she's missing it. Of course she's missing it because she cannot take her clothes off, not for a sexual encounter, but the clothes of the specialist. She's so well trained to try not to listen to the patient, because he's a patient for here right now, but to try to understand the historicity, the dangers and all this stuff. That's why she listens nothing. She elaborates nothing from the important things she's saying. That's why psychoanalysis is important for psychiatrists and psychologists, even for those who practice with CBT, because in order to practice good CBT, you have to be able to understand the structures.
Yeah, this new lecturer started at uni, and he works for MI5.
Right.
They knew the movement of the TV marks something new. The new lecturer, okay, something is moving. The space is moving. His geography is moving. So what he's telling us is that his body is becoming disoriented because objects with which he was able to coordinate himself in space, like Magellan, he was using objects. They started moving. They knew the new thing is making me lose his body. I will ask more about this new lecturer and about the TV, just to get more signifiers out, because he's speaking in condensation. If we don't analyze the condensations of the patient, of the analysis, they are going to be repeating the symptom.
Right. Okay. So it's been going on a couple of months.
Yeah, this new lecturer started at uni, and he works for MI5.
Right.
He basically drafted my housemates in, turned them against me.
Okay. Now I've noticed a couple of times while we've been talking that you've sort of looked round you into the room as if you're checking for something. Could I? Okay.
Another stupid mistake that she did. I keep repeating the word stupid, but I think I'm repeating the word stupid not to say something heavier. Okay, she's missing important questions now. One of the things that you have to do with psychotic is not to challenge them, but ask them questions. They have to bring in signifiers to be removed from this condensation of the psychotic structure of the paranoid other that is constructed there. Okay, this new professor take them into his team. Okay, be polite. How did he do that? Can you tell me? Ask these questions to make connections from one point to the other. How these things are connected. This guy is countering the gap, and then he's saying they are MI5. He put them into MI5, and they just proceed. Ask him something between these 2 points of reference. The connection is MI5 with my roommates, MI5 with him. Okay, he's able to make a connection. He put them into this thing. Ask how. How do you think he did it? Try to create a narrative. He's getting lost because there is no narrative. She's missing very powerful opportunities here. You know why? Just to verify her position as a specialist.
A couple of times while we've been talking, you've sort of looked round you into the room as if you're checking for something. Could I ask you what's happening at those times?
Well,
sorry guys, another mistake. Why is that a mistake? Because the MI5, Penny can tell us more later, it's a secret service. And of course, it's an embodiment of the gaze, of the persecutory gaze. And then the next question this idiot asks is, I have observed that you are looking when I ask you in the room, that you are looking, blah, 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 blah. She is taking up this position, like observing his body, and she wants to know why. That's a big mistake to do it. Take his signifiers, take his language. Don't ask him questions in relation to that what you are observing. He's suffering from the gaze. You don't have to embody it in terms of his therapy.
I can hear him talking about me.
Right. Who is it you can hear?
My housemates.
Right. So that you recognise it as their voices?
Yeah, I can hear them all the time.
Right. How many voices can you hear, Andy?
Three. There's three of them.
Okay. And do they sound real, like my voice sounds talking to you now?
She's implying that they might not be real. Okay. There is other question. You could ask, for example.
I can hear them talking about me.
Right.
Okay.
Who is it you can hear?
My housemates.
Right. So that you
recognize them, because her concern is to make sure that he's hallucinating or he has delusions. But she's missing another question, because she doesn't give a fuck about context. What are they saying? Ask him, what are they saying? Ask him why. Because with that question, he will start elaborating and creating a narrative. You need him to create a story so he can place his body in it. That's the first thing. So he doesn't fall into schizophrenia. We take him into paranoia. And from there, we elaborate his position with the big other. So, right, do you recognize it as their voices? She wants to make sure. Yes, I can hear them all the time.
Recognize it as their voices?
Yeah, I can hear them all the time.
Right. How many voices can you hear, Andy?
Three. There's three of them.
Okay.
Okay. And then another stupid thing. I will ask. Yeah.
Who is it you can hear?
My housemate.
My housemates.
Go on.
Right. So that you recognise it as their voices?
Yeah, I can hear them all the time.
All the time?
How many voices can you?
I can hear them all the time, and then that idiot, instead of I can hear them all the time, I will ask, what are they saying to you? But is there any moment that you cannot hear them? Is there a moment why? Because we can ask two types of questions. Ones that they are aiming at jouissance, to understand the jouissance, and the other to see possibilities where jouissance is not there. And there are possibilities for the construction of a possible desire. She doesn't ask that. She says, how many voices can you hear, Andy? Who gives a fuck how many voices you can hear? If it's one or many, does it make any difference to you?
Can you hear, Andy?
Three. There's three of them.
Okay. And do they sound real, like my voice sounds talking to you now?
Of course. She's saying, oh, do they sound real? I mean, yes, I'm having the suspicion that you are a schizophrenic, but I'm asking you, is it real? Is it like my voices, whatever? What is he going to tell you? He already told you about MI5 and all this shit. Why you are asking this stupid question? Implying again that he might not be listening. Assume that he's listening and ask him to elaborate it. You want him to construct a narrative, to create a unique solution. So her orientation here, her aim is to verify that he's crazy.
Yeah, it's odd. It's like I can hear them when they're not here.
Right.
And
so what they're not, and when they're not in the house with you?
Yeah, it's like they're in the other room or something.
Okay. Okay. And can you hear what they're actually saying?
Yeah, they're talking about me.
Right. Okay.
They're always talking about me.
Okay.
They're always commenting on everything that I'm doing.
Right. Can you give me an example of what they would say?
Okay, that's a good question.
If I'm packing my bag to go to uni or something, they'll comment on that, like he's left the house now. Or,
okay. Okay.
You know.
Anything else? Do they ever talk to each?
Okay. With this, okay, right. Even when she's making some decent questions, she's not listening. She's cutting him to ask further questions because this is what is in the script. This is an actual psychiatric interview. There are books that they say how to conduct the proper psychiatric interview. If I would have burned one book, which we shouldn't burn book, but if I was evil one to burn one book, it wouldn't be Marx, it wouldn't be Hitler's Mein Kampf, it would be these fucking idiot books about how to conduct a psychiatric interview. It's not even an interview. In the interview, you are listening.
Each other, perhaps, about you.
Yeah, that's what they do. I mean, and now they know. They've sort of twigged that I know about them now,
right.
And they're saying like I'm making trouble.
Okay.
And that they're.
She's allowing him now to speak a lot.
Okay. Okay.
And then she's starting again with this, okay, right, okay. And she's cutting him off. She gave him like a few moments to speak and started elaborating with gaps and bit of stuttering. But she doesn't allow him, she doesn't remain silent because she has to fulfill the prophecy. She has to ask all these questions to make sure that the specialist did his job. Shut up. He started talking to you. You pose a question, a decent one. Allow him to speak. Don't say right, cut him.
What about actually talking directly to you in the way that I'm talking to you now? Does that ever happen, Andy?
No.
Okay. So you've been hearing the voices of your housemates. Have there been any other changes? Have there been any changes perhaps to the way you're thinking? Sometimes people tell us that their thinking changes in some way. So, for example, they might feel that they're getting...
Sometimes people tell us. She puts him into universal. Immediately, she's removing him from his unique experience. And this, sometimes people tell us, implies two things. That I'm the specialist, the doctor, and immediately she's putting him in the place of the ill person. She's speaking from the position of the master, and the first thing she does is to kill his subjectivity. Sometimes people tell us. Who gives a fuck? Whatever they tell you. Who gives a fuck? You should listen to him.
Thoughts put into their head that aren't their own. Have you had any experiences like that?
So they tell us this, blah, 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 and then, did you have any experience like that? I mean, she's trying to put him into, she's giving him an example, and then she says, did you have experiences like that? She's trying to put him into this column, this specific structure, going into him being ill. That has nothing to do with the unique solution with which a psychotic subject can construct very unique solution for their own life, his or her life. Immediately, she's putting the universal here, not in terms of solution, but in terms of diagnosis that he's fucked up. Sorry, ladies, for the cursing, but that's how I do my seminars.
Yeah, I do think things that aren't me. Like they're putting stuff in my brain. It's not me. I'm not thinking.
So different like thoughts in your brain.
Yeah, that's like it's stupid stuff as well. It's like the other day I suddenly just started thinking about some woman in Coronation Street. I don't watch any of that crap.
Right. It's not your kind of thing normally. Right.
They're not my thoughts.
She interrupted him twice to say, "Oh, it's not your normal thing. It's not your normal thing. Just shut up and listen. You could just have asked gently, what are they putting in your head? Ask him. He even tried himself alone to tell you what is happening, but pose a question, because if you pose a question, you are separating this condensed, let's call it psychotic paranoia fantasy that is constructed there. And by putting this question, you are elaborating, you are helping to elaborate and pose and bring forth more signifiers.
Right, okay. And do you have any idea how that's happening? Or who's responsible?
It's MI5, it's this chip they've put in my head.
Right, okay.
He already talked here like 5 times. And again, she's asking.
And I can feel it all the time.
Okay. So you're getting thoughts put into your brain that aren't your own. What about a different sort of experience? What about the experience that somehow other people are able to know what you're thinking, even though you haven't actually told them?
No.
Nothing like that.
They're just putting stuff in my head.
Just putting stuff.
Okay, so that's from a psychiatric script. It's a question that they ask to everybody. Okay, you can see, what about this? Because they have to ask that to measure, and they ask this sort of questions to measure whatever, if he's here or whatever, because they are not listening. They are not listening. There was no point to ask this question there.
And can I just check, Andy, as well, that you're not getting the experience when your thoughts just stop altogether, like you have no thoughts left?
No, if anything, there's too much in there. I wish I could unplug it.
Okay.
Two things here. One thing that he's keep repeating, it's they're putting things in my head. There is something with feeding here, putting things in my head. He keep repeating that. Okay, and then he says, just get things out of my head. Two things that he's repeating.
Get this thing out of my head.
Right. And you mentioned this chip or this device in your brain. Do you want to tell me a bit more about that?
Well, it's a tracking device, so they know where I am at all times. I can feel it moving around, like rotating
so you
around.
can feel the physical sensation in your brain. Okay.
Even though she asked a nice question here, she allowed him to say two sentences. Immediately, she feels the need to say this empathic technique, which is so stupid. Right, okay, or to shake their body movement, and then she says, "Oh, okay, that must be very difficult for you." It's the third time she's repeating that, and then basically she's cutting him off from explaining, from elaborating his own experience. I wouldn't take even my a crippled dog to her to treat.
It'd be very difficult for you.
Yeah, okay, that must be very difficult for you. Why she's keep repeating that? Because she doesn't know how to elaborate what he's saying. That's her way to create a good friendly transference. Go and buy him a bit of Souvlaki. Would be even better.
I don't know why they're doing this to me. I've done nothing wrong.
He doesn't give a fuck about her question. He's answering something else. He's asking, I must be very difficult for you. He says, I don't know what they are doing this for me. I mean, it's as if he's telling her, fuck off, you ask me this question. Of course it's difficult for me. That's why I'm fucking here.
Okay. Can I just check, are there any problems, Andy, with the rest of your body? Any changes in sensation or any bits that feel different?
Are there any other problems with the rest of your body? What is implied here? Your mind is fucked up, but do you have other problems with your body? Do you have fungus on your feet and your feet smell? Do you have a rotten teeth? Do you have a premature ejaculation? So she starts these sort of questions, probably she's a doctor, of course, and she's asking with the precondition that there is a problem with your head, but are there any problems with the other parts of your body? Okay.
Different in any way?
No, I feel fine. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not ill or anything.
Yeah, you are not, my
this
friend.
thing on my head.
Okay.
Okay. So what he's telling us here, it's I can feel my other body fine, but it's just the thought. Okay. He's able to localize where is the problem.
Difficult time for you. Can I ask you, Andy, how are you coping with all this? How's it affecting you?
So this is the risk assessment.
I'm not really leaving my room much, and I sort of have to wait till they go out to go down and get some food. But they've been doing stuff to my food now. So
okay. Well, what do you think's happening to your food?
Okay. Before she asks about what the fuck is happening in your food, I'm really sorry for cursing. Actually, I'm not. But I have to say that I'm sorry because I'm a gentle person. not for her. Okay. She says, I'm not leaving my room. If somebody tells you I'm not leaving your room, you are not asking him this. Let me put it.
Sort of have to wait till they go out to go down and get some food. But
right. You, Andy, how are you coping with all this? How's it affecting you?
Well, I'm not really leaving my room much, and I sort of have to wait till they go out to go down and get some food. But they've been doing stuff to my food now. So
okay. Well, what do you think's happening to your food?
Okay. What do you think is happening to your food? The first question she should have asked, because she's trying to verify about the risk assessment. So because she's trying to understand this risk assessment, if he's going to suicide, blah, 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 there is danger and all this shit that they're doing. Okay. Even though he told her that the rest of my body is fine. The rest of my body is fine. He's not going to suicide. Like I had an analyst who was going to a psychiatrist, and she said to a psychiatrist that he was thinking to die. She was thinking to die. And the psychiatrist was calling her 10 times in the weekend. I didn't call not even once. I was not worrying. I went, I enjoyed my food on the weekend. I did all the things I like. Why I was not worrying? Because she told me, I bought a new pair of Nikes. If you are going to suicide, you are not buying Nikes. So the psychiatrist didn't hear that. He heard the other stuff. So let's hear here. I haven't not been living in my room. I should have asked, what is happening in your room? What are you doing? Why? Why? Because I would have liked to see what this person is doing in the room, how they move their body in the room. What are they doing in space? And then go to the fucking food. If you continue with this food, you are going to end up with a very condensed, paranoiac, schizophrenic, whatever scenario that will just verify the diagnosis. We have to break this by asking questions in the right moments, clarification questions to unfold it.
And I sort of have to wait till they go out to go down and get some food. But
and because she's failing to ask these questions, he's returning to the condensation of his symptom, his paranoia. If we fail to ask questions related to desire, what is desire? To ask them to unfold these things. If we fail to do that, they are going to return to the symptom.
Doing stuff to my food now. So
okay. Well, what do you think's happening to your food?
The poison in it.
Right. Okay. Are you actually eating much at the moment?
Wait. No. She's failing here. How are they poisoning it? Ask all these questions. We ask all these questions. Why? Because we know how this big other, this paranoid other is functioning. We want to embody him. We want to make him human. We want to turn him into a function. How is he doing the poisoning? He doesn't know. But if you ask him, he has to construct. It's as if you are asking somebody. Let me try a microphone. It's as if you are asking somebody, okay, to be creative writers. He should have asked him that so he will be able to think and be creative, to answer this question. How are they doing that? Okay? But of course, she's failing because she has an agenda there that a proper psychiatrist should have asked.
All this happening, and this sounds like you don't feel very safe. Have I got that right? Okay. Have you felt the need, I don't know, to take...
She shouldn't have asked that. I got the feeling, blah, blah, blah. Ask him, how is your experience with all this? What is in danger? What is problematic? Even better, what is problematic for you with all these things? She didn't ask him. She assumed and then she gave it to him.
Steps to protect yourself in any way.
And because she's assuming there is a danger, she's saying about protection.
Well, I've got a knife.
Okay.
And I've got like a baseball bat.
Right.
It's just in case they get in my room. I don't want to hurt anyone. I just feel like I've got to protect myself. It's like it's cornering me to do this.
Right, okay. Have you felt the need to use either the knife?
Another stupid intervention. What she should have asked here? She should have asked, what is the danger? She assumes that there is a danger. She knows that he has a bat and a knife, but this idiot who is asking questions, okay, remission of an unpaid water bill hanging on the refrigerator for months. She's not asking, what is in danger? It's a basic question. If he feels threatened, ask him, what is in danger? Ask him to tell you more information, to put verbs and describe the movements and his position at the same time of this threatening big other.
Knife or the baseball bat so far? I'd take it out with you for protection.
No, I don't want to get caught.
Okay.
No,
okay.
It's just in my room.
Okay. Has it ever got so bad, Andy, that you felt the need to hurt yourself or even kill yourself as the only way out, the only way of coping with this?
Well, I thought about getting some pills, but I couldn't leave the house. So
She had to ask a question. And you want to hurt yourself?
And when you say getting some pills, would that be to take an overdose of tablets?
Ask hamstrings again.
Yeah.
But you've not actually done anything about that so far. Okay.
So, if she would have asked the question, what is in danger and why you are protecting yourself, she would have helped him actually to start thinking that if you name the danger, then you create a very basic structure of linearity. If they are threatening me because of this is a danger, then I assume this position. She should have given him a space of identification with a cause and effect, with a logic. Okay? And then because he will have taken that, because it will be his own question, probably in the process, he will have not be thinking about the pills.